February 10th, 2006, a small town in Kerala. A grandmother, tired but happy, walks home from the panchayat office, documents in hand. Her twin granddaughters were just born. She was preparing a new chapter for her family. But as she opened the door to her house, her life came to sudden, horrifying standstill. Inside, her daughter Ranjani and her two newborn granddaughters lay murdered. Why? Who could carry such hatred for a young mother and two innocent babies just 17 days old? This is not just the story of a brutal triple murder. It's the story of betrayal, hidden identities, and 19 years of silence. Until artificial intelligence cracked a case that even time had tried to bury. Welcome to Beyond the View, the channel where cold cases heat up and the truth finds its voice. Today, the Kerala triple murder and the first case in India solved using AI. Ranjani was just 21, a simple, cheerful girl from Achal town in Kollam district, Kerala. She had spent her childhood there and her family was quite simple and happy. She fell in love, like many do, with a boy next door. His name was Devul Kumar, an army man. The relationship blossomed, friendship turned to love, but love also turned blind. She was completely immersed in her love for Devul Kumar, or you could say she went crazy for him. Their relationship became so deep that they grew very close and even crossed physical boundaries. But we must remember that Ranjani and Devul Kumar were not married. Still, their bond was at a different level. They felt complete with each other. And everything was perfect in Ranjani's life and in their relationship. But things started to change when Ranjani got pregnant. When she found out she was going to be a mother, she was very happy. She thought that now her relationship with Devul Kumar would take a new turn and they would become even closer. She thought it was a new beginning, but for Devul Kumar it was the end. He told Ranjani directly that the child could not be kept and she would have to undergo an abortion. But Ranjani firmly refused and pressed him, saying she could not abort her child and he would have to accept it because it was his own baby. As I told, Ranjani was adamant about keeping her child, and Devul Kumar was already worried and stressed. To avoid this tension and responsibility, Devul Kumar went back to his army camp in Pathankot, Punjab, leaving Ranjani alone in this situation. But even after Devul Kumar returned to Pathankot, Ranjani did not change her decision. She decided she would not leave her child. She would hold on to her identity. But in Ranjani's case, she decided to fight for her child's rights. That was an incredibly brave decision because, let's be honest, in Indian society, being an unmarried pregnant woman is like fighting a battle every single day. Judgment does not come from just one corner. It comes from relatives, neighbors, and even strangers. She is labeled, shamed, and her entire upbringing is questioned. Society often forgets compassion and instead acts like a courtroom where the verdict is already decided. Characterless, irresponsible, unworthy. We have seen this reflected in the movies, read in the news reports, or perhaps even witnessed it around us. The way society can be brutal towards such women, especially when their partner abandons them. And yet, Ranjani chose to stand tall, not just for herself, but for her children. In Trivandrum hospital, during her delivery, Ranjani met a man named Anil, kind, helpful, from the same town, or so he claimed. He even donated a blood for her surgery. He helped them find a new rented house. In such a vulnerable moment, Having someone step in to help felt nothing short of a blessing. You know how it is. When you are going through one of the darkest phases in life, just a little kindness can feel like a lifeline. You open up, you share everything, hoping they truly care. And that's exactly what happened with Ranjini. She was emotionally drained, isolated, and clinging to whatever hope she could find. So when Anil appeared with empathy and support, she saw him as a savior. Anil promised her that as soon as she delivered her babies, he would help her get justice from Devil Kumar, never realizing the danger that hid behind his smile. His real name was Rajesh, a close friend of Devil Kumar, sent by him to spy on her, gain her trust, and execute a plan more terrifying than she could ever imagine. Later, Anil, whose real name was Rajesh, went a step further. He helped Ranjini and her mother find a new rented apartment, suggesting it would offer them some peace away from neighbors and judgmental relatives who constantly questioned Ranjini's situation. For both mother and daughter, it seemed like the right move. Life outside was cruel. So, distancing themselves from familiar faces and starting fresh in a quiet place felt like a wise and necessary decision. Trusting Rajesh completely, they did not even return home from the hospital. They moved straight into the new apartment, unaware of the trap being laid. On February 10th, Rajesh sent Ranjini's mother, Chintamma, to the Panchayat office to collect the baby's birth certificate. While she was gone, Rajesh and Devil Kumar entered the house and murdered Ranjini. Then they murdered her 17-day-old twin daughters in cold blood. By the time Chintamma returned, her daughter and granddaughters were gone, not missing but lifeless. Her world was destroyed. The cries of the newborns were replaced by silence. After a few months, she managed to gather herself and went to the nearby police station to file a report. The police took immediate action and reached the crime scene for investigation. During the investigation, they found a vehicle near the crime scene. When they checked its registration number, they learned it belonged to Rajesh. The police also contacted the Kashmir military base, but by then both Rajesh and Devil Kumar had already fled. For a moment, it seemed like the case was open and shut, as suspects had been identified. But as the investigation progressed, tracking down Rajesh and Devil Kumar became even more difficult. The police made every effort to catch them, but they kept slipping away. Eventually, after they were not caught, the case was closed, and over time people stopped talking about it. Everyone had forgotten about this case. Think about it, an entire mother's life was shattered and justice was denied. The police also gave up and this case turned into a cold case. For 19 years, this triple murder case remained forgotten in Kerala. But even after so long, this case was about to take a new turn very soon. You have probably heard the saying, God's delay is not his denial. Sometimes old cases remain filed in police stations as cold files, and investigators revisit them once in a while. Many times the truth hidden for years comes out eventually, and the same happened with this case. A senior Kerala police officer, ADGP Manoj Abraham, was revisiting unsolved cases. He came across an old photo, blurry, faded, from 2006 of Devil Kumar and Rajesh. What he did next, can you imagine? Rewrote Indian crime history. Using AI-powered facial recognition, Manoj generated aged versions of both faces. He ran them through social media databases looking for matches. Sometimes 10% match, 20% match, and sometimes 50% match. Suddenly, one day, 100% match has happened. Rajesh had been living under a new identity, Praveen Kumar, in Pondicherry. Devil Kumar had become Vishnu, settled elsewhere, living a peaceful married life as if nothing had happened. But the past had finally caught up. The picture that matched was the wedding anniversary pic posted by Rajesh's wife on social media. Police swooped in, arrested both. And during interrogation, they confessed. Imagine living 19 years with the blood of infants on your hands and still marrying, teaching, smiling like the world owes you nothing. They thought they had escaped, but AI brought them back. A grieving mother finally found peace, and a case, once buried in silence, now echoes with justice. This wasn't just about technology, it was about persistence, courage, and the belief that the truth, no matter how long it takes, will always rise. So, is AI dangerous or powerful? For Chintamma, it was divine intervention born from code. And remember, sometimes justice only needs one spark to reignite. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to the Beyond the View channel, share, and also click on the bell icon.